stream title. What do you think? Let's see. There we go. All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. No reason to be alarmed. We're just here in my kitchen cooking up some delicious goodness for dinner. Now, first thing I'm going to do is I got some chicken, and I'm going to do kind of a lemon herb chicken with that. It's going to be great. Then we're going to do some carrot soup. Lemon for the chicken. And I was going to... Oh, yeah. I'm going to cook up this asparagus before it goes bad. So, how's everyone doing? I also have, and I need to find it. Did I leave it out in the car? Ladies and gentlemen, I will be right back because I think I left my pitas and my potatoes in the car. So I will be right back. Except I can't find my keys. Here we go. Hello everybody. I'm back. I have got pitas and potatoes. So, these can go in the fridge for later. I'm going to start by getting the chicken ready so that we can bake it up real quick. So the first things first, we're going to get a nice little pan here. We're going to get our chicken breasts out, and we are going to rub them down with a mixture of butter, herbs and spices, and of course, lemon. That being said, we're going to get into the chicken. Now, one thing that we might want to do is to evaluate whether the chicken needs to be rinsed off, and it doesn't really look like it does, but it might be a good idea to do it anyway. So, we shall. There's one. There's two. There's three. Wash our hands after handling chicken. And now we get to herb and season it. Let's start with a little bit of butter. Butter's always good. Everyone loves butter. In order to melt it, we'll get a little ramekin. Stick it right in there. Hey, Kaladin, how's it going? We are making food. How you doing today? We're just getting some butter in a ramekin here so that we can brush it on this chicken. And we want enough to where we get our herbs and spices and things like that just kind of in it. And we'll add the lemon juice to it as well. Yes, lemon herb chicken is wonderful. So now that we have the butter in the ramekin, we're going to add just a little bit of salt. That's not as much as it looks like. This thing pours slowly. A little bit of black pepper, which is always fun. Let me show you guys what I'm doing. A little bit of garlic powder. About that much should do the trick. And let's see, what do we want on this? I think for a chicken, oregano always works well with chicken. So let's try some of that. Waiting for the end of the workday so you can go. Oh, that's right, Avengers is out, isn't it? I don't do a whole lot of superhero movies, but I know everyone's excited for it, and I hope you enjoy it really well. So we get the oregano going. Basil's always good, but I think we'll add just a little bit of, here we go, celery salt. I like celery salt on chicken, and it's not bad. Not too much because it might overpower the lemon. And we don't want that. We don't want it to overpower the lemon. So we'll melt that. In the meantime, we're going to have our lemon with a knife, if I can find one. Apparently some lady made the news because she was crying so severely after watching the movie she had to go to the ER. Well, what did they do? Did they kill off her favorite cat? Well, I guess that's a spoiler, so they wouldn't say. But, people get hyped up over their movies, I guess. Oh man, this smells really, really good. Now all we have to do is, now you don't want a bunch of seeds and pulp and things like that in your lemon juice. So get your little strainer and hold it over that and strain your lemon juice into it with that, and it'll keep all the seeds out. But that's wild, man. That's, I never heard of just someone going quite that off the deep end for the ending of a movie. Well, I mean, I guess I have, you know. But, like, weren't those girls that got into the whole Slender Man thing and killed their friend? But, that was weird. On to more pleasant topics. We have our mixture of lemon juice, butter, and herbs. But, yeah. Well, if you feel like crying so hard that you have to go to the ER, just remember it's only a movie. There we go. Get all that delicious goodness out of there and onto the chicken. That garlic smells really good with that lemon. What I'm going to do is lift the chicken up and set it back down so that we get some of this delicious stuff under the chicken and it's not all wasted on just being in the pan around the chicken. That said, when we get it out of the oven, what we're also going to do is probably baste it up in its own fat and juices a little bit and kind of drizzle it on top. And it'll work out really nicely. So, that's probably about it for the chicken. Luckily for you guys, I'm also going to do a nice carrot soup. And we're also going to do asparagus. So let's get this wrapped up because we don't want it drying out. What am I doing? Putting plastic wrap in the oven would be real silly now, wouldn't it? Don't clip that. All right, let's set that on about 405. We'll just say that. All right. Let's see. Exactly! Speaking of trolls, I need to get to work on my one-screen troll levels. Yeah, I might add a bit of an odd flavor. By the way, my stream on this thing looks like I'm frozen in time. Is the stream alright on your end? Is that just me, or do I need to do something about that? Also, we are going to put a great big dollop of butter in this pot right here. Oh shoot, guys, we might not be doing this. I don't have any real milk. Huh. Well, tell you what. Here's what I'm going to do. I am going to do the asparagus first. I'm going to run out, I'm going to grab some milk, and then I'll pick the stream right back up. Which will be a whole lot of fun for you guys, because you're going to be staring at an away screen for 5 minutes. So let's get the asparagus ready first. Okay. Well, cool. That's good. It looks frozen on that end. So we have asparagus. Now, the one thing about asparagus is the stems at the very bottom are a little tough sometimes. So what we're going to do is we're going to take, I'll show you all here. Sorry. And we're just going to cut those off right there. And we will spread the asparagus out gently throughout the pan so that it can roast up nice. And we're going to do the same thing we did with the other one, with the exception I'm not going to melt the butter because it doesn't really matter. So let's take what's left of our butter and just kind of lay it out here real good. There we are. Get butter near the heads of the asparagus where it's going to be all delicious. Give me a second. And then a little bit of olive oil. Keep things interesting. And here's the best bit. A little bit of balsamic vinegar all over the place. Bake onto those things. These are going to be real, real good. There we go. Now, a little Worcestershire, can't go wrong. Not a lot, just a little. Okay, that's going to be wonderful. However, I need to go and get some milk for this soup. So I will be right back. Let me change this real quick. I am just running to the corner. Be right back. Milk run. And I will see you guys in 5 minutes. Hey! That is, hello, 69 Tipsy. Welcome to my kitchen. Unfortunately, yeah, it was the name of my voiceover studio, but I adopted it as a Twitch name when I was watching streams. I didn't think I was going to be streaming, and so, you know, it's the company name, but it's also my Twitch name, and it works out great. Welcome to the stream. Unfortunately, you've come into an interesting time because I am out of milk. I have to run down 5 doors to the convenience store and grab some milk so that we can make a nice carrot bisque soup. And I hate that your first stream is one punctuated by a quick break, but I will be right back. So if you guys want to chill and chat among yourselves for about 3 to 5 minutes, I will return and we are going to make a nice carrot cream soup with beef broth. You can also do it with a vegetable broth or like a imitation broth if you want it to be vegetarian, or vegan is difficult to get a cream soup right, but it can be done. That said, thanks guys. I will be right back. Hold down the fort. Call 911 if there's a fire. There won't be a fire, and I'll be back in 3 minutes. Catch you soon. Maybe 4 minutes if I can't find my keys. Be right back. Yes, lots of energy. It's all good. Be right back. We have milk and bananas. We're not putting bananas in the soup. Hi, everybody. If anybody is actually still here, how are you guys doing? Okay, now, these get to go into the oven now, and we're going to start working on the carrot soup. That chicken, by the way, is starting to smell really, really good. So we're starting with a little pat of butter. And then what we want to do is thank you very much. It's good to see you guys. What we're going to do is we're going to put all of our carrots into our pan here, and we want to start them cooking. And we want to start them cooking also with a little bit of this beef broth here. Now, let's get it open real fast. I'm just going to make a little nip on both sides of the can here. Let me show you guys. If you do like a little nip on either side of the can, one side to let air in and the other side to let the broth out, you can just kind of pour it real easy without having a big sharp lid everywhere. And it makes it easier if you want to like put plastic wrap over the top of it and just seal it up and use the rest of it later. We're going to be using all of this tonight, but for this soup we also want a few other flavors. Now, what I think we're going to do also for one final dish is we're going to cut up some shoestring potatoes and roast those in the oven as well. And those will be a fun thing to work on while these carrots start to simmer. And let me get a lid for this real quick. Yeah, you guys can keep an eye on it. All right. So first things first, we want a little bit of onion for this carrot soup. And so we're going to slice that up a little bit. And so you guys are going to come over here with me. Let me get you focused here. And we'll get a proper knife. Get the onion skin off. Nip the top, peel off all that outer skin so you get it down to a good lustrous shine. Beautiful. All right. There we go. We're mincing it really, really fine because we're not looking for texture, we're just looking for flavor. And we're going to save the other half for another dish. So we'll set that over here for now. And let's go over and see what's going on with our soup here. And then I'll check on you guys in a minute and see if anyone's chattering. I can smell that asparagus already. It's smelling wonderful. So now that we've kind of got the carrots starting to just kind of cook down a little bit and simmer, we want to let them get soft, and I think I might need to bump that up just a tad. Now that we've got that going, what we're going to do is to wash our potatoes and get them shoestring into little shoestrings so that we can roast them, and they're going to be real good. Now, these are relatively clean, so I'm not bothering with a vegetable brush or anything like that. But if you get potatoes that have like a lot of crud or dirt on them or something like that, it might behoove you to invest in a little vegetable brush that lets you clean them up real quick, because it sure beats standing around for 15 minutes trying to get a potato clean. And I like potatoes with the skins on them. To me, the skin is the best part of the potato. And so, what we're going to do with these is we're going to slice them up real thin. after we get the last of the onion off with my knife here. There we go. I mean, we don't want them too thin because they're supposed to be little. Oh, and if you see a little bad spot on the potato like that, just like go ahead and nip the whole thing off, because you don't want that floating around inside your potato, causing trouble. Because that never tastes good when you get a hold of it. So if you have any bad spots in your potato, don't be afraid to trim them out, because we don't want them. That might be a little too thin there. Let's get a little thicker with that. There we go. We're essentially making little shoestring matchstick potatoes, and we're gonna let them get all roasted up and tasty here. Yeah, I think we got. Oh no, there's a little bad spot right there. There you go. Now, just cut them into matchsticks. And we'll herb and season them up. Yeah, I like the skins on the potatoes. They give them a whole lot of flavor. It holds up well in the oven. It's really good stuff, y'all. This potato has several bad spots in it, but that doesn't mean it's a bad potato. It just means we need to be a little bit careful and selective about how we cut it up. Like so, we'll just remove that, and we'll have some smaller fries. But don't ever waste food just because it has one little bad spot in it. Just cut around it and make sure you're not feeding it to anybody, and you'll be all right. So, we're going to cut up the other potato in a minute, but first, we might need a cookie sheet here real quick. And I think just a small one should do for these potatoes. I don't know why I got two out. But we're just going to spread the potatoes carefully along the bottom of the cookie sheet. And we'll cut up the other potato here in a second, but what we don't want is them laying on top of each other. We want them evenly spread so when they roast they can get crispy. And if they're butted up against each other, they won't as easily. So yeah, let me show you guys over here. That potato takes up about half of the pan, the other half is reserved for our other potato. Let's get chopping on that real quick, and I will then manage this carrot soup. Sometimes if you've got an odd-shaped potato, it helps to cut it in half, and that way you have a flat surface with which to work with your potato. That's always nice. And again, just cutting it into appropriate little matchstick sizes for this thing. It's kind of hard to see, but this actually is. Let me cut that again. Yeah. Potatoes have like starch in them and they tend to stick together a little bit, so sometimes they'll be cut and you can't tell that they're cut. Other times you will think they're cut and they're not actually cut. You think they're sticking together. So let's put these over here. The last half of potato is right here and it's looking tasty. I'll also get the asparagus out in a minute and let you guys see what it's doing, because I can smell it. It smells like it's getting close to time to take it out and start munching on it while we wait for other things to happen. And indeed, I hear the timer. All right, so let's run over here, get these potatoes in here. And let's also take a look at these carrots, because we might need to stir them around a little bit and or add some beef broth. But we're going to cook those until they get good and soft. I need to turn that up a little bit. Okay. Now let's talk about these potatoes because they're going to need to be seasoned. First things first is I've got a nice new box of butter here. We are going to butter up the potatoes. Now, we don't need to do anything real fancy schmancy because they're in a roasting pan and we've put them flat. So all we have to do really is to get the butter, little chunks of it in there with them, and it'll seep in where it needs to go. Now we could melt it and brush it over all of them, and that works well too, but because they're all laying in the pan, it's really unnecessary. We just want to be sure that there's enough kind of spread around everywhere to where it seeps onto all the potatoes evenly. We could also get a little bit of olive oil on here if we wanted to, and if you're into that sort of thing, I prefer butter, and these are going to be real tasty. So, that said, next thing, you don't salt potatoes before you cook them. At least partially. I mean, you can partially cook them and salt them, but the problem is potatoes kind of suck in salt and you can't taste it on them, so it's best to get them crispy and then put it so it stays on the outside. If you salt them before you cook them, you won't be able to taste it. You'll add more salt. You will think, man, these aren't that salty, and then you'll wonder why your eyeballs are drying out. So, that being said, we will put several herbs and spices on these things, but at the moment, salt is not going to be one of them. We save that for the end. I want a little more butter on them, though, so give me just a second here. Yeah, here we go. Butter. That's going to be real good. So, for the spice mixture, we are going to go with a classic. We're going to get a little bit of celery salt, okay? And we are going to just kind of ease that over all our potatoes here. Right? That's going to be really good. Now, I said no salt, and celery salt is kind of the exception. I would normally use celery seed instead of celery salt, but I don't have any, and celery salt is celery seed ground with salt. So, we are going to add a little bit of onion powder. And that's going to look about like that. There we go. A little bit of black pepper. Okay, a lot of black pepper. I like black pepper on my potatoes. A little bit of paprika. Because paprika is always good on potatoes. And see, they're starting to look real good and seasoned up, aren't they? And last but not least, I want just a little pinch of coriander. This will be like that French fry spice you get at restaurants, except with the coriander. It'll give it a little something extra. So stick that all over those. And we will salt these when they get done roasting, okay? And once again, we do want to cover these real fast. Just so that they don't dry out too much and the butter doesn't evaporate. Potatoes have a good amount of natural moisture in them, and we want them to kind of get crispy, but we don't want them to dry out right away. So we cover them up at first, and I'm going to check this asparagus, because if it's to the point I think it is, we can swap the excuse me, the potatoes for the asparagus and leave it in there a little bit. Oh, 69 Tipsy, thank you so much for coming by. Enjoy your food, and I will see you real soon. Thank you again, and it was wonderful having you in the kitchen. And I really appreciate it. Oh, yeah. That looks good. Okay, ladies and gents. Are you ready for asparagus? Because, we got some. All right. Look at that. Look at that. The butter and the olive oil is just kind of baked into it. The salt's there. Man, and the balsamic vinegar has kind of, seeped into the heads, the little leafy parts, and it's going to be a real good flavor on that. So I'm going to set this aside, and when it cools down just a little bit, I'm probably going to start nibbling on it while we cook other things. But for now, we probably ought to stir these carrots a little bit. With these carrots, what we're waiting on is we're waiting on them to get soft. And in order to facilitate that, I'm keeping them covered a little bit. This is the wrong lid for it, and I don't have a smaller clear lid, but if I put the opaque lid on it, you guys have very little to look at. So, that said, we're going to leave it like that for a bit. In the meantime, I'm going to clean up my counter a little bit. I would recommend, if you have leftover potatoes, to wrap them up in a plastic bag if it's not anytime near garbage day. Because, like, garbage day was yesterday, and these are going to be, like, in the garbage for about a week, and nothing stinks worse than rotting potatoes. Well, I mean, I'm sure we could find a few things that do, but rotting potatoes are never pleasant. So, be sure they're tied up good. Be sure they don't have a smell to them. I'm also going to untie this again because I forgot that I have the package that chicken came in, and that's also unpleasant and unsanitary if you don't put it in plastic. So let's kind of make sure we keep a neat, pleasant, and sanitary kitchen. And that'll go a long way towards making our cooking experience enjoyable. Also, the bag are carrots came in. I actually planted some carrots in my garden, so we'll see how that turns out. And that'll be a lot of fun. So, yeah, those are bubbling away pretty nicely. These are probably too hot to eat. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Asparagus. It's going to be good. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. So, actually, it's almost perfect. Now it's perfect. Need a little salt. Oh yeah. I saw that at the grocery store, and I thought, that looks really, really good. I could use some asparagus in my life this week, and so now I have it. And I couldn't be happier. So let's put this stuff away real quick. Dishwasher. So what are you guys all up to this evening? Everyone gearing up for a fun weekend? Y'all gonna do something fun and exciting? Gonna eat some good food, or relax from your week, or go on an adventure to White Castle and get your car stolen? And wait, I'm thinking Harold and Kumar. Yeah, if any of y'all are up to anything fun or interesting, feel free to be talking about it in the chat, because we've got a little while for these carrots to cook down, and well, I would sure enjoy hearing about anything that you guys got going. Little beef broth, little milk. Now that milk is cold, so it's going to stop those cooking for a minute, but it'll start it cooking up again in no time. It's a nice thing about cast iron pans. They hold heat really well, so it's not like it's chilling everything down. That will hold the heat, it will retain it, and that'll be bubbling again in a minute. Movie and some work. That sounds good. Kaladin, I don't think I've asked, and I probably should. I feel bad. What kind of work do you do? I own an IT company and a voiceover studio. Mostly video games and radio ads. I'm going to have all this asparagus eaten before the rest of the food is out. Now, for the lemon pepper chicken, which, you know, I made at the beginning of the thing, and you'll see it when it comes out, there's a couple of ways we can eat this. One, I'm probably going to eat it with a side of soup and some asparagus and some matchstick potatoes all done up real pretty. But I also have some nice Greek pitas and lemon herb chicken works real well in a chicken Caesar pita. So I'll throw some Caesar dressing in and some field greens, and it'll be real nice. So, Devereaux, hey, welcome to my kitchen. Yes, it tastes good. Let me show you. Let me show you this asparagus. We got carrots simmering down here. We're gonna make a nice carrot cream bisque kind of thing. We got asparagus cooked in butter, olive oil, salt, pepper, and balsamic vinegar, which you can see like the little heads have soaked it up real good. And they are just absolutely marvelous. How are you? Happy Friday. What you got going on for the weekend? Anything good? Well, it's probably 7. It's what, midnight for you? You're up late, but I'm glad you're here. Yeah, that's good stuff. We could probably take a look at the chicken here in a minute, but what I would like to see is these carrots start to simmer in a little bit. We need to wait until these are soft, because blending them while they're still crispy or crunchy is not going to do any good. We'll end up with kind of a gritty texture to our bisque, and that's not good. We want it very, very smooth. But that tastes so good. It tastes really, really good. So, I'm just going to eat asparagus while we wait. But yeah, now, Kaladin's in chat, and I just played Kaladin's one-screen troll level the other night, and it was wonderful. I'm making one of my own. I've already made one, but I'm not happy with it for the project that we're doing, so I'm probably going to make another one. I'm going to keep the one I've got because I like it, but it's not what I was after. So I'm thinking about streaming the making of the other one, but the problem is that will totally spoil the surprise. So I'm 50-50 on that one. But yeah, since it's Friday and I don't have any food in the kitchen, I'm making food for the next several days. Bacon Maker! Woo! Thank you for the host, man. What you up to? Happy Friday. I'm eating asparagus. Asparagus with balsamic vinegar, olive oil, salt, pepper, butter. Butter's always good. Now that we have milk in this, we do need to stir it fairly regularly to make sure it doesn't curdle or set up or get all separated. If I'd thought about it, I would have waited just a little bit longer on that. But I did want it to start incorporating a little bit. And I wanted the water to cook off of the milk so that it would become thicker, because normally I use cream for this, and since I ran out to the gas station to get milk, I did not have that as an option. Well, I mean, I did, but it was $7 for a little thing of it, and I'm like, you know what? No. Just got home from picking Maya up at work. Well, hello, Bacon Maker, and hello, Maya. Do you guys have big plans for this weekend, or just gonna chill? Also, look at this asparagus. It's wonderful. So good. So yeah, I'm I've got chicken in the oven, I've got potatoes in the oven, the asparagus is already out of the oven, as you can see, and we've got our carrot soup here. Now, I'm going to need to get over there and get to the blender in a little while when this is done. But the thing is, it's going to take a while to get done, and it requires babysitting, which is why it's the perfect thing for a stream where most of my stuff is in the oven. Because while I'm standing here waiting, twiddling my thumbs for stuff to come out of the oven, I have something here that actually requires attention for a little while. Game of Thrones Sunday, other than that, nada. Well, Game of Thrones Sunday sounds like an event. Are you all caught up and just rewatching, or are you seeing new stuff? I must confess I've never seen Game of Thrones. I understand that there's a dragon lady and a guy that says Hodor. And there's a little blonde dude that nobody likes. And Jon Snow knows nothing. And that is the extent of my knowledge of Game of Thrones. Oh, and everybody dies. Like, everybody. No one lives, everybody dies. There's a guy named Hodor. That needs salt. Not a lot, because I want the sweetness of the carrots there, but that definitely needs salt. And you know what else it needs is pepper. That's better. That's much better. I might add some coriander to that as well, just for fun. Now that's the stuff. That pepper makes it smell so good. And we've got some green onions to put on top of it later. But, oh, that made the difference. That's perfect. Blonde is dead. There you go. Okay, blonde guy's also dead. Well, there you go. See? Everybody in the entire cast. Totally new cast this season. All new people. Well, in that case, let's see what we've got going on here. There. I look like your friend Timmy. Well, Timmy is a very good-looking person. Hi, welcome to the stream. How you doing today? Welcome to the kitchen. I'm making some nice carrot cream stew. It'll be kind of a smooth, almost like a bisque or a cream soup when it's done. I also have lemon herb chicken and potato matchsticks in the oven. We'll see those in just a bit. And I have been eating on this wonderful asparagus with butter, olive oil, and balsamic vinegar baked into it, which came out real good. It was good asparagus to begin with, but I was real pleased with it. I'm glad. Timmy's a nice guy. Well, thank you. I take that as a compliment then, and I appreciate that. Well, and Timmy's got a good friend in you if you're telling people that he's a nice guy. That's really cool. Well, welcome to my kitchen. Unfortunately, a lot of the prep work for the chicken and the potatoes and things like that was a little bit earlier. Right now, we're kind of just chatting and minding the carrot soup, because since it now has the milk and the cream in it, it requires kind of a constant attention you have to stir it, because if you don't, the cream and the milk tends to kind of curdle and get lumpy and kind of nasty, and you don't want that. So you've kind of got to watch it. What we're waiting for is the carrots to get soft so that we can put it in the blender. As I was explaining earlier, you can't put the carrots in the blender for the soup until they're soft, because if you do, they turn kind of chunky and gritty, and it doesn't make for a pleasant texture for the soup. We added a little salt and pepper a minute ago, and that made all the difference, although in a minute I might throw some coriander in. Timmy seems like an interesting friend. Bacon Maker, yes, this pot is heart-shaped. It was from the Le Creuset Valentine collection, and unfortunately it had a flaw which I am unable to find on it, but apparently it had some sort of flaw that qualified it as B-grade merchandise. So Le Creuset was selling it for like $40 as opposed to the usual $250, and I thought, I want a cast iron pot with a ceramic interior, and here is a cast iron pot with a ceramic interior, and so it then became mine. Besides, I like the heart shape. It's unique, and it's fun, and it makes me happy. That said, these carrots are starting to get along nicely. They're smelling wonderful, as are our potatoes. The lemon herb chicken has less of a prominent smell than everything else, so I'm not getting a whole lot of it, but it's probably not quite ready to be messed with yet, so we'll get to that in a minute. Must be the lead paint, smartass. That is why I love you, Bacon Maker. You are awesome. Lead paint? You mean wall candy? That's good stuff. No. While we're kind of babysitting this, what I did for the broth in it is we just nipped a little line with the can opener on this side and this side. One side gives it the ability to pour, the other side gives it a little air opening for air to get in so it pours smoothly, and you can just gently pour it without having a big sharp nasty edge on your lid everywhere. Plus it makes it easy to seal this up again. You can put a little plastic wrap or something over the top of it, a rubber band, and it stays good a lot longer than if you open it up and have to find something to do with it. That said, we need to kind of keep stirring this a little bit, and you can see it's starting to thicken up a little bit. The beef broth and the milk. It's starting to get a little heavier, and we'll probably add a little something to it to thin it down a bit before we blend it, because we want to make sure that it has plenty of liquid for the carrots to get good and soft before we get them in the blender, and then we'll add a little cream afterwards to kind of get it to the consistency, thickness, and flavor we want. But that onion and black pepper in there was a real good idea, let me tell you all what. This wall tastes like snozberries and... Oh, yeah, if Timmy is lactose intolerant, then that kind of explains things. Poor Timmy. I feel bad because I love dairy. I am not lactose intolerant, and if I was, I would take the pills because I love all things dairy. In fact, while we're waiting on this, let me show you guys a little treat that I picked up for me yesterday. This is Cypress Grove lamb chopper. It is a sheep's milk Gouda made, where the heck is it made? Holland. It's made in Holland, but it is exported only to the United States. They don't actually sell this in Holland where it's made. They sell it here in America. But it is a sheep's milk Gouda, and it is soft, and it is mild, and it is so good. So, if you get the chance to try it, I highly recommend it, because it's pretty great stuff. In fact, while we're waiting on this, actually, I'd probably better check on the chicken here in a second, but while we're killing some time, I might eat a slice of it. The pot, by the way, Bacon Maker, has a lid that fits it, but it's not entertaining if you guys are just staring at a closed pot, so I got the glass lid out for you. Oh, me. Alright. So that said, we are going to have a piece of this while we wait. And then we're going to check on the chicken. I need a knife. Bacon Maker, are you still around? Let me do something here for you while I'm thinking about it. I've wanted to make my friend's mods a long time, and I haven't had you guys in chat to be able to do it. So, I don't want to block him. I want to make him a mod. There we go. There we go. X to Bacon Maker. You are officially my very first Twitch moderator.
Use your power responsibly.
Have a good one, man. There we are. Now, that being said, these carrots are starting to look awfully good. Really bad idea. He's banning everyone. Oh, battery-powered Specs is here. Woo! Welcome! While you guys are here, let me mod them too. And Kaladin while I'm thinking about it, because I don't have any mods in chat, and while I'm reasonably sure that one of the people in chat was a mild troll, it wasn't anything that I couldn't handle. But since you guys are here, and because you're my friends, I want to mod y'all up. So there's a mod for Kaladin. Oh, come on. There we go. There's a mod for battery-powered... Where's battery-powered Specs? Why are they not in my list? No, I have no commands. It's just so that you can kick people when they're being a pain in the butt. And you're my friends.
You have control of my stream.
Uh-oh. Why is battery-powered Specs not showing up in my list? Oh, well, let's do it this way. There we go. Battery-powered Specs is now modded as well. Welcome to the hula line, everybody. Come on. So I've got to be actually stirring this. So yes, we are, and you can see the cream's thickening up on the side of the pot. So, you know, we might add a little more here in a minute. But what we're really interested in is these carrots are starting to get soft. They're not there yet, though. So let's... it tastes so good, though. Let's add a little more beef broth to this. Just to make sure that doesn't get too thick and glommy before we want it to. Oh, that pepper in there is heavenly. Yes, I am so glad you guys are here this afternoon. And looking forward to it. So, Kaladin, if you're around, I had a question for you on the one-screen troll that you did. Those little custom blocks, the blocks that ask for coins. Do those take one of the two message boxes within the level, or are they separate from that? Because I can make something like that with Block Creator, but it'd be cool. Man, that is so good. It'd be cool to have some extra messages throughout the level. We're scraping off the residue on the sides of this as this cooks down, because we don't want to lose that lovely milk fat. That's part of the flavor of this. And we don't want it. We also don't want it sticking to the side of the pan and burning, because if it does, it adds an odd flavor to the soup. So scraping down the side of your pan provides two good things for your meal. It keeps the sauce from burning to the side and making it taste funny, and it makes sure you don't lose any of that delicious goodness. That is wonderful. It starts to really pick up the flavor of those carrots. Ah, I gotcha. Battery-powered Specs. What is what? The Kaladin and I are part of the Troll Hack Discord. We make hacks of Super Mario World, And the troll part is we make them to surprise and frustrate the player. And they're a lot of fun and they're funny to watch. But Kaladin made a level, and it had these little blocks to where if you collect a coin, it will allow you to pass through the block, but only so long as you have at least one coin, and it will eat one of your coins before it explodes and lets you through. So they kick up a message box when you hit them, too, actually. So since they have 2 message boxes, and there's one for the Spiny, normally in Super Mario World levels there's only 2 messages allowed per level. He somehow had 3, and I was wondering how he did that. Game didn't know what level it was running, so... Gotcha. That sounds like a big pain. This cheese, you guys. This cheese. It's so good. Now what I need to do is check on our chicken real quick. So Aaron, I'm guessing that's Aaron there, or maybe it's Jess, maybe it's both of you. But Aaron, did you already stream, or are you gearing up to stream this evening? Or I know that you had posted something, said that there was going to be a solo stream, and I'm guessing that's probably why you're here. You probably already streamed. What did you stream? How was the stream? Also, everybody go follow X-Maker, Battery Powered Specs, and Kaladin Hyperion. They're wonderful people, every single one of them. Battery Powered Specs is actually a brother-sister team of streamers, and they are funny, they're fun, they're sweet, they're kind. They're some of the nicest people I ever, well, I haven't met them in person, but they're some of the nicest people I know. Same goes for Bacon Maker and his wife, Blessed Bacon. They're fun, wonderful people. Kaladin, I'm going to beat you with a stick because you make the best and funniest troll levels on the planet. No, guys, Kaladin is wonderful. Give him a follow. But yeah, that was impressive. I was wondering how you managed to get 3 message boxes in one level. Okay. Let's see how this lemon chicken is doing. I might need 2 gloves for this. Give me a second. Oh my. Look at that lemon herb chicken. And what we're going to do is we're going to set it aside a moment, and I'm going to put a little pat of butter on top of it, and we're going to cook it without the foil on it so that the butter will brown. And that's going to be really tasty. Well, that sounds like fun to me, Bacon Maker. Besides, you absolutely are fun. If you were not fun people, you would not have asked my mother on live stream if you could be my internet boyfriend. Now, I'm not surprised my mother agreed to it, but I'm really surprised that your wife agreed to it. And if I was still married, my wife might have had an exception to it too. But that said... That said, no, Bacon is immensely a fun person. And I'm very fond of, and I very much enjoy spending time with all of you. And if any of you are ever in Cincinnati, please come on by. I will feed you. Okay, look, little pat of butter. Just put it in the center of the chicken on each chicken breast. Oh, come on. Don't go running off on me. Okay. Look at here, guys. Just a little pat of butter on the top of each one. We're going to stick it back in here and let it brown. We are also going to check on these potatoes. I don't think the potatoes are probably done. But we do want to keep an eye on them just because we did cut them small and they will cook faster than larger potatoes. And yes, see, they're not anywhere near done yet, but they are ready to be uncovered. You see, they're starting to get clear and translucent, and the edges are starting to get a little, they're starting to curl a bit and get crispy. We want to finish that off. We can leave them uncovered because if they dry out a little bit, it'll help the water come out of them, and they'll kind of get that nice little crunch on the outside and turn brown, and that's what we want. Well, it can be both, Bacon Maker. Don't threaten me with a good time. No. No, every single person that stops by my stream on the regular seems to be very nice people. I am so lucky to have run into all of you guys. And I really appreciate each and every one of you. Let's see here. Yeah, I can put this butter away real quick. Man, let me tell you guys, that carrot soup is starting to taste really, really, really good. And when these carrots are like soft enough to just kind of push apart, they're getting there. They're almost there, but they're still too firm and crunchy. We need to get them soft, soft, soft all the way through, which should be in about the next 10 minutes. And then we just throw it in the blender, and we get it good and creamy. We add a little bit more dairy, and we cook it down until it's the desired consistency. We will then put some, and I'll chop these up while we wait, put some green onions on it, and maybe a little dollop of sour cream, and we'll be good to go. Chance that if you feed the coin a block and run into the spiny in less than a second, there's a chance you would get the wrong message because the Uber ASM wouldn't have corrected the level yet. You didn't want the blocks too hard to code, so I gotcha. I see. Well, that makes sense. The thing about that is, pulling off tricks like that is always impressive. And, half of the fun of that is if you can do it, but there's like a chance of a glitch like that, the trick to good level design is simply to make sure that you design your levels so that that can't happen. And I think that's what Nintendo did. I mean, just having used Lunar Magic, I think that's what Nintendo did with like half a Super Mario World. They're like, this thing glitches this thing when you put them together, and that's why you never see those things together in like the vanilla game. Because Nintendo was probably aware of all the possibility for jank, and they just said, they said, well, it acts up when I do that. Well, don't do that. Just like, doctor, it hurts when I do this. Well, don't do that. Man, that's good. Okay, so we have a minute, so we're going to cut up our green onions all tiny and pretty and lovely, which is always fun. We'll kind of nip off the wilted and problematic looking ends. And then just do some real nice, light, small cuts. Get that little rubber band off there. Beautiful. See, and those look really, really nice. And then I've got plenty for later. Those are going to be great in that soup. What I probably also ought to do is to get out this blender so we have it handy. And we're going to want to keep an eye on our chicken and potatoes now because they're getting close to done. Let's see. Oh, battery-powered specs. Yes, it is carrots, beef broth, butter, milk, and the seasonings are salt, pepper, I finally minced an onion, and I put it in there. And, yeah, I want a little bit more black pepper, and I want some coriander in there. So, just a little touch of black pepper, and coriander, just a little, just not a lot, just a tiny little bit, is going to go real well. Maybe just a little more. I love coriander. So a little bit of coriander in with the carrots. So it's salt, pepper, coriander for the seasonings, finely minced onions.
goes in there. But it's butter, carrots, beef broth, and milk. And it's going to be a cream soup. It's going to be a real homogeneous, creamy, almost a bisque, but with not as much butter as you would, or oil as you would have in a bisque. And it's going to be really, really nice. And I tell you, the asparagus turned out gorgeous. The asparagus has butter, olive oil, salt, pepper, and balsamic vinegar on it. And the little tops of the asparagus, tend to just suck up that balsamic vinegar and oil and butter. And they have so much flavor when they get all crispy and caramelized like that in the oven. Hey, Tomo, how's it going? That's right, he's talking about me. Or I should say, that's right, he's talking about me. I mean, I can do any voice you want, but I think for Tomo, he's not so much about this voice. He's about this voice. So, you know, I mean, it'd be, although I don't know Tomo's life. He might like the big, strong, handsome ones. How you doing, Tomo? And welcome to the stream. I love you guys. So yeah, as soon as this cooks down just a little more, these are softening up and they're almost there. So let's check the potatoes and the chicken, and we'll. That smells good. Potatoes are not ready yet. Chicken is almost ready. Let's put on the timer for like 3 or 4 minutes so we don't let it get away from us. And while we're at it, let's drag out the blender to get it ready for this soup. What you got planned for the weekend, Tomo? Your Mortal Kombat rabbit is being pushed to tomorrow. Okay, well that's cool. Let's get home from Taco Bell. Taco Bell actually sounds real good. I don't eat fast food a lot, but every once in a while, a little taco doesn't go amiss. So now, ladies and gentlemen, the blender is plugged in, and we're about to get ready to put this soup through it, but I want to make sure, like I said, that the carrots are good and soft. Like, they're not quite there yet, and the worst thing we could do is to put them in when they're not quite ready, because the cores will still be crunchy, and they'll make all this little grit everywhere, and that's not fun. You know, we want it smooth. We want it real silky, and it'll be a lot more pleasant. And I am really, really looking forward to this soup. I made this for the first time some years ago when I was playing around in the kitchen, and I really wanted like a carrot stew or a carrot bisque or something like that, and I wanted it kind of like those pumpkin soups or the squash soups that you see in the nice restaurants. And I wanted one with carrots because I like carrots. And I fooled around and I whipped up one, and it's really good. And this is a lot like the original one I came up with. This one's probably a little easier and got a little less stuff in it. I think it's actually going to even taste better, because in the kitchen, sometimes simpler tastes better. But it is great to have all you guys cooking with me tonight. I'm really enjoying this. And Tomo, we've got asparagus. Well, we had asparagus. I'm making my way through it. And in the oven, there's matchstick potatoes that we're roasting and getting all crispy. And we've got lemon herb chicken. So, oh man, so good. I want to get a look at this. Now the potatoes are really starting to almost get ready. The chicken, let's take a look at this and see what we've got. Oh man, that smells good. Lemon herb chicken, and it's starting to look tasty. What I'm going to do real quick, I think just for funsies, to see if we can't brown up both sides of this, is I'm going to gently dislodge these from the pan. Yes, that's what I want. And flip these over because that sugar in the lemon juice is going to caramelize on these bad boys and make them all pretty. So let's get this back in the oven real quick. And then let's check on these potatoes. Now with the potatoes, what I do want to do is take like a spatula and kind of shuffle them up a little bit so that they don't stick to the bottom when they start to get crispy, because then they'll just pull apart into a big glommy mess. These still have a few minutes to go. You can see they're still a little starchy, but they're like 2 minutes from done, and I want them to get crispy on all sides. See, like on one side you've got them all delightful and caramel and brown and crispy. I want it like that all over. So let's just kind of turn them to where the crispy sides are up. You know what? We've got these tongs. Let's make use of them. And let's do it without tearing them all up. And then I'll be right over and see what you guys are up to. But yeah, I love little shoestring potatoes and getting them all crispy in the oven and delightful and crunchy and wonderful and And that one's going to be potato mush, but that's okay because the rest of them are going to be great. Okay, let's get these back in to finish. Stir this a bit. These carrots are probably almost there. I mean, yeah, they're close. Another minute. And let me check on you guys while we wait. God, that tastes good. Did not know that. When you hear rabbit, you think of two things. Video sharing involving one of them is on Twitch. Wait. They don't allow, like, the animals on Twitch, or are you meaning something else? Because I think of given what you're implying, I can think of 3 rabbits and 2 of them are allowed on Twitch. Also, guys, remember my mother might be lurking the stream, so if you misbehave, I'm the one that's got to explain it. Yes, to Bacon Maker, exactly. I knew you'd get that. Don't ask me how I knew. Yeah, that's almost there. Again, another couple of minutes on that. And I'm going to put this lid over here out of the way, because I'm probably going to need the real estate on the stove for sticking the chicken and the potatoes here in a minute. Let's see what they're doing. Yeah, that chicken looks freaking great, and those potatoes should be done in about 3 or 4 minutes. So I'm going to set that to 4. We'll pull the chicken out when I go to blend the carrots. In fact, let's turn the carrots off here and let them simmer down, and then I'll pour them into the blender, and then I'll bring it over here and blend it with a little milk and cream, and then we'll bring it back over here and simmer it down until it's done. So again, it's kind of an involved soup, but it's so good. See, Tomo gets it too. See? Exactly. Everyone knows all kinds of rabbits. Shh. Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting rabbits. Okay. Yeah, those seem nice and soft. I can push a wooden spoon through them, so they're soft enough. Let's do this. So guys, okay, watch. We're going to carefully get this into our, drain off all the juice first. The other nice thing about a heart-shaped pan is it has a point on it for pouring things out. It acts as a spout, and that's really handy for stuff like this. So here we go. Let's just pour this out and get that in there. And we're going to actually put that on a back burner real fast, because we are going to need to simmer this down again when we get done blending it. So now we have our blender full of carrot soup. We're going to add just a little bit more beef broth, finish off the can. There we go. And just another dollop of our beautiful dairy moo juice. I mean, you could use goat or sheep's milk if you wanted to get extravagant, but okay. Now this is going to get a little bit loud, and I'm going to let you guys watch it. So, in the words of Ma Fratelli, hit puree! We want to blend it for a while because we want it smooth. All right, let's check on that and see what it looks like. That looks just exactly right. That's smooth. That's beautiful. Let me show you guys this. Come on over here with me. We are going to go over here to the stove, and we are going to get a look at this. Look at that. Look how beautiful. So that's pretty much done, I think. I am going to stick it back in the cooking pot because we're going to test the consistency and see if it's, there we go. Yeah, that looks good. We need to add a little bit more milk to it and loosen it up a bit and then let it cook down again. Also, here's a neat trick. Oh God, that tastes so good. Put the milk in the blender. And we're going to go back over here, and we are going to use the last of the milk to wash out the residue in the blender. There we go. Now we don't waste any of that beautiful soup in there. We'll just pour that in. And I'm going to run some water in this blender real quick, but first, let's stir this up and let it be. Now look how creamy and smooth and delicate that looks. That is just lovely, lovely, lovely. Man, that's good. Oh man, that's good. Okay, so I'm going to rinse this out real quick before it turns into a milky, sticky nightmare. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to get our chicken out and probably our potatoes. Okay, there is our chicken right there. It's looking wonderful. Let's actually flip that over a bit. Give me a second. And that's the problem with lemon juice and other sugary juices. They tend to weld to the bottom of a pan. If I'd thought about it, I probably would have put some foil on the bottom of the thing. But look how beautiful and golden brown those are. Those absolutely look wonderful. I'm going to enjoy those. I believe our potatoes are probably also done. I also believe I've spilled stuff all over my countertop, but that's okay. That's what they make towel paper for. Let's see what our fries are doing. Look at that. Now those look good. Let me go ahead and rinse this off real fast. And I do want to kind of poke at these because if they're still floppy and they're still kind of starchy on the inside, I do want to let them go a little bit longer just because they're better when they're crispy through and through. And they appear to be a little... Now that one is done. I'm going to fish that one out and I'm going to eat it in a minute when it's not 6 million degrees. But yeah, these are going back in for a minute. These are going back in for a minute because I want them good and crispy all the way through. So let's start plating this stuff up. And by the time we get done, well, those potatoes should be ready and we can stick them on the plate as well. So, thank you. Stop, I'll tell you. Yes, stop, I'll tell you everything. When I was in 5th grade, I pushed my sister Edith down the stairs. That was great. Oh. The Goonies was an excellent movie. I mean, especially if you were a kid when it came out, because it was, I mean, it was just fantastic. I loved the Goonies when I was a kid. I still love the Goonies. It's a great movie, but the problem is it's better if you see it first when you're a kid and then as an adult. My favorite part was like the freezer where the body comes out on him and he's like, ah! Stay. Stay. Guys, he's in here! You know? But, yeah, so that is gorgeous looking. Let's plate this up. So, unplug my blender and put it away here real quick. Sorry. Now, first things first, we get one of these lovely chicken breasts with the lemon herb sauce all over it. And that's going to go right there. And then some of this luscious asparagus covered in butter and balsamic vinegar and olive oil and all kinds of other tasty goodness. And then we're going to accompany it with some potatoes. Not one, it's mine. I think that's good. Alright, I'm going to leave that one for a minute. Let's get these potatoes out real fast. ¿Dónde están los guantes? Los guantes, aquí. Bueno, oh yeah. Those look wonderful. Let's turn that off. And I'm going to get a few of these to plate right up here. And they're still 1,000,000 degrees, so let's be a little bit judicious about this. I'm actually going to move these back a bit and wipe that off, because what I was hoping to do was get like a little bowl and put on here and kind of do a whole restaurant-style presentation thingy for you guys. Of course, I'm not especially well prepared for that, but we're going to make it happen, because you guys are worth the effort. So, excuse me. Here we go. Small ramekin. Look at that. That is just gorgeous. All right. Carefully get us some carrot soup. All right. I'm actually going to set that right. Well, you know what? Excuse me. That's wonderful. All right. Some of these green onions on this. Let me show you, ladies and gentlemen, little green onion on the carrot soup. Move this all aside, and let me show you what we've got for dinner. Oh, come on. There we go. We have got asparagus with salt, pepper, butter, olive oil, and balsamic vinegar. We have potatoes seasoned with onion, with celery seed, with paprika, with coriander, with salt and pepper. The lemon herb chicken is done with lemon juice, butter, and oregano on that. The carrot soup is carrots, beef broth, milk, salt, plenty of pepper, coriander, and it's got minced onion in it. It's we blend it, we cook the carrots down to where they're really soft, and we blend it with cream until smooth. Ladies and gentlemen, dinner is served. Hey, there you go. What do you guys think? Is that enough to get going on a Friday night with? Because I think it sure is. And I am real pleased to be able to share this with all of you. Oh, I should probably turn my light on. It's getting dark in here. Well, yeah, and to top this meal off, what I am going to do, just for me and just as a treat, remember that sheep's milk Gouda that I had earlier? I'm just going to treat myself to a piece of it right here along with the meal. We're going to set it over here behind the bowl where it stays, where it's minding its own business. And there you go. Well, what do you think, everybody? Look good? I hope so. I had a whole lot of fun making it. I certainly enjoyed spending the time with you. And I am going to clean up my kitchen and go eat now. But if you guys have any questions on this dish, feel free to ask me. And I now need to pick someone for us to go raid. So if you guys have any suggestions, I'm happy for them. Otherwise, I will select someone from the list of people who are currently streaming. Matter of fact, I think Stellar Strix is streaming, so I will probably throw the stream over to Stellar unless someone has a better suggestion. That said, you guys are great, you guys are wonderful, and I love having all of you here. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate seeing all of you. Have a wonderful evening, have a happy weekend, and I will see you guys real soon. Take care. Bye. Thanks, Galadin. I appreciate it. Raid starts in 3, 2, 1. Says it's an invalid username. Hang on. Technical difficulty. Ladies and gentlemen, we are having technical difficulties. Raid the Stellar Strix. There we go. Now we're raiding. Okay. Bye-bye, guys. Thanks, Galadin. Thanks, Bacon Maker. Thanks, everybody. See ya. Mm-hmm.